Hi, my name is Cesar Munoz. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how you can monitor your servers. So I'm going to demonstrate how to use Event Viewer um, and how to add a task to an event in Event Viewer. I'm going to demonstrate how to delete that task. I'm also going to demonstrate how to configure a subscription. And I will also show you how to use Reliability Monitor, Task Manager, Resource Monitor, and Performance Monitor to check the status of your servers and your hardware. That includes your processors, your memory, and your network cards and your network traffic also. And you can also take a look at all of the processes running on your system, see how many how much resources those processes are using. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Event Viewer. So I can simply search for this, search for Event Viewer. Here it is. Up. And you'll see here on the left, you'll see custom views, Windows logs, applications and service logs, and subscriptions. What we can do is we can actually filter by warning level. So if by default you get all of the um, any event that happens, you see that in Event Viewer by default. But you can actually filter depending on the level. So for example, if I go under System in Windows logs and I get all of this information, and here you see a lot of information level warnings, but I can click on Filter Current Log under Actions, and I can filter it to only show critical and warning levels. Events, so you'll see here that it only shows, now it's only showing warning and critical events instead of you having to see every event that's going on your system. You can filter that so it shows only warning and critical events. So I can actually save this filter log by clicking Save Filter Log File here, and you can name it whatever you like. And next time you want to use those exact same filters, you can just use that that filter log. So now I'm just going to change this back to what it was before I applied those filters. I just to make sure that Event Viewers we can see everything in Event Viewer now. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make an event happen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the Services console, and I'm going to look for the print spooler. Here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop and then restart the print spooler. So I'm going to do stop here. Stop. And then I'm going to start it again. So I'm going to do start. And what this is going to do is it's going to show, I'm basically creating an event that we can see in Event Viewer. So I'm going to go to Event Viewer now, and should see it here now. So we can click on under Windows logs, we can click on System, and you'll see the very first one here. It says the print spooler service entered the running state. So that's when we restarted it, and then the one under it will be will say the print pool. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a task to an event. So I'm going to right click this event. I'm going to right click the event that said the print spooler has stopped running or has entered the stopped state. I can name this task whatever I'd like. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be starting Paint whenever an event with an event ID of 7036 occurs. When an event with an event ID of 7036 happens, the Paint application will. So I'll name this Start Paint, and I'll I'll click Next here. Just to make this a little bit easier, I put the Paint application in the Documents folder. So I'll browse to that and I'll hit Next, and then I'll do Finish. And we will get a message that says that the scheduled task was created. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and go back and stop the print spooler. and you'll see at the bottom of the screen that the paint application will open up as soon as I stop, or once that Printspool stops. You see that the paint application starts. And when I turn it back on, when I restart that service, the paint application will open up again. As you can see here, I restarted it, and the paint application opened up again at the bottom of the screen. So that's pretty neat. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create or add a subscription on server B. So what I'll do is I'll open up Event Viewer on server B. What subscriptions do is they let you see events that happen on other servers. So for example, in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to create a subscription, and we'll be able to see the events that are happening on server A. We'll be able to see those on server B. So what I'll do is I'll right-click subscriptions, do create subscription. And I'll name this events. I'll just type in here. I'll do server events, server events, and we'll leave it so that it shows it in the forwarded events. We'll search for server A. So we'll select computer server A, check name, okay. And I'll do test. As you can see, the connectivity test succeeded. So I'll do okay and okay. Here. Now I want to make sure I leave this at collector initiated for this video. I'm going to leave it as collector initiated. Now I'm going to select what type of events I want to see, what events from server A I want to see on server B. So I can specify that. So I'll do critical warning. I'll select all these verbose information and error, and I'll do system event logs. For the event ID, I'll type in 7036. So any event with event ID 7036 that happens on server A, I'll be able to see on forwarded events on server B in Event Viewer. So next thing I want to do is I want to add the machine account. Let's see here. So I'll leave the machine account there. As you can see that it is showing as active, so that was configured correctly. The next thing I have to do is I actually have to go back to server A. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, well actually I already did it earlier, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to local users and groups. And in groups, I'm going to make sure that server B is added as a is added to this to the event log readers group, so that I'll be able to see server A events on server B. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an event on server A and just verify that I'm able to see that. So what will happen is I'll see it under Windows logs, forwarded events. What I'm looking at here now is reliability monitor. So you can see how reliable your computer has been, or if you've had any issues in the past days. As you can see, where the line goes up and then it dips down right here. That's simply where my server shut down unexpectedly. So that was just me turning it off unexpectedly. So that's where the dips are. So as you can see here, the event was unexpected. The system shutdown was unexpected. So that's happened twice in the past couple of days. So you get the same message here. So that's pretty cool if you can take a look day by day and see if there was any any events, any critical events that happened in the past few days. Mine starts right here because that's when I created this virtual machine, when I created this server. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at Task Manager. With Task Manager, what you can do is you can see the programs that are currently running, and you can see how much those programs are using. So I'll do Control Alt Delete, and you can click on Task Manager, and you can see here we have a Server Manager running, we have the Paint application running, and Task Manager. And you can see a percentage of how much of the processor those applications are using. You can also see background processes, so you can see things running in the background, and it'll show you how much memory and how much how much of the processor those applications are using, or those background processes. You can see under the Performance tab, you can see CPU, um, the memory. You can see um, how much memory is currently being used, and you can also see how much the Ethernet card is being used, or the network adapter card. You can see how that's being used and how much of that is being used. You can also look at users, details, and services. You can see services that are running. See here, there's plenty of services on this system. The next thing I'm going to look at is Resource Monitor. So I'll open that by typing Resource Monitor, searching for it. And as you can see, the Resource Monitor opens up. And you can see on top we have different tabs. We have the CPU. Oh, we have the overview, which shows you everything: the CPU, disk, network activity, and memory. We can click on CPU and look at processor information. We can click on the memory tab, and we'll be able to look at how much memory is being used and how much total memory we have. You can also look at the process, which process is using how much memory. You can look at the disks and the network. You can look at see what processes have network activity. So it's pretty neat that it's kind of all here on one page for you to look at. So in this video, I demonstrated how to use Event Viewer and how to add a task to an event in Event Viewer. I demonstrated how to delete the task, and I also demonstrated how to configure a subscription in Event Viewer. So when we set up server B so that it could see events that are happening on server A with the event ID of 7036. So we were able to set that up so that we could see events happening on server A, on server B, but we set it up so that we could only see events with an ID of 7036. Um, I also demonstrated how to use Task Manager, Reliability Monitor, Resource Monitor, and Performance Monitor.